Okay, you guys, hi, welcome. Sorry about the problems with going live in Facebook. I will get that corrected for next week, but today we're on the Zoom call. So I'm really happy to have everybody here. We will be going through a planning session today. We're going to review 2023 and plan for 2024. So I have put the link for that document in the chat right now. This is a Google document. It's actually a Sorry, there's parrots. There's a flock of wild parrots outside of here. They're driving me crazy. Anyway, it's not a Google document, it's a Google spreadsheet. And I was really playing around trying to decide how I wanted to share this with you guys. Ideally, I thought a Word document, I just like to keep this really simple. I don't want to get caught up in the logistics of this. I don't want to get caught up in the mechanics and the technical stuff, but really a Google spreadsheet I found is the easiest way. There is instructions on how to copy this to your drive so you can use this spreadsheet. If you do not know how to use Google Documents, your Google Drive, and Google Spreadsheets, I'm going to say you're going to want to learn that. So I'm going to jump in and just talk about why I'm doing this. So we're all, as actors, we're told that acting is a business, right? This is show business. But nobody tells you how to do this. I don't know about you guys, but I did not go to business school. I went to drama school. I went to design school. These are my specialties. I did not go to school to learn how to run a business. Now, since then, since many years ago when I was in drama school, I have taken business courses. I've taken marketing courses, yes, but this is all added on afterwards. So back to treating your acting career like a business. So, and the Google Documents. Part of running a business is being proficient in the basics. So this is why I'm going to say, if you don't know how to use Google Docs, you got to get down with that. All right. This one is really easy. Again, the link is in the chat. So you can go grab that now, copy this to your Google Drive. If you have a Gmail account, you already have a Google Drive. So the purpose of this session today is to reflect on last year, both personally and professionally, what worked, what didn't work, and then to put some structures in place for the year ahead. So I'm just going to give everybody a couple of minutes to snag that document. And you'll notice when you go to the doc, and I'm just looking at my own now, it starts off with the instructions page. That is the first sheet. So make a copy to your drive. And then you'll look at the tabs at the bottom there and you'll see that the next tab is 2023 recap. This is where we're going to start. So why are we doing this? You really need to take a look back at last year, find out what worked, what didn't work, and decide what you want to do for the year going forward. So we're going to start with the 2023 recap. So everybody should have grabbed the document by now. And you'll notice for the highlight, the first column under the 2023 recap is the highlights of 2023. Now, and notice I said highlights, not everything, but just take a couple of minutes now, or take about a minute. I'm going to give us all 30 seconds to a minute here just to write in some highlights. And by the way, just so you know, this week's homework is going to be to go back, review this document, and to complete it, okay? There's a lot to do here today. I really want you guys to have the time to do this. So your homework this week is going to be to review this and complete it. So again, and just going back to my copy here. So just jot down the highlights of 2023. Now, there's another reason I like using a Google spreadsheet for this, because it lines everything up in columns, right? You can see what's happening. I actually use the Google spreadsheet. I use the same spreadsheet for myself and just stack the years. I've been doing this for about 5 years now. So I have this year's at the top, last year's underneath. So I can go through and I can see everything year to year. That is really helpful for me. It's really also really interesting. So 2023 recap, just the highlights of 2023. The next thing Major lessons of 2023. Now, for a lot of actors, we had a lot of big lessons last year. For those of us in the States, there was a double strike that was really, really tough. It was tough, not just on actors, but on agents, managers, super challenging for everyone who worked in the entertainment industry, and even for people who don't work in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. It's such an entertainment industry centric city that when life went south, for that business. Stats from the Los Angeles Restaurant Association, by middle of summer, restaurant sales were down 40%. Just because, people weren't taking clients out, of course, but people weren't working. People weren't spending money. Nail salons were saying that the business was down. Doctors in Beverly Hills, I know a few doctors in Beverly Hills, cosmetic surgeons, they said their business was down. People weren't even coming in for Botox. So it impacted a lot of things, a lot of challenges for 2023, and lessons. So the next column is best decisions. We don't just want to focus on the terrible stuff that happened, but on your best decisions for 2023. Maybe it was just one thing. Maybe you made one really good decision. Maybe you decided to, sign with a new rep or to leave a rep. Maybe you decided to get in or out of a particular relationship, a personal relationship in your life. Maybe you moved cities or countries. So just best decisions, and just highlight a few of your best decisions for 2023. And I'll just give you a minute to take a sip of my tea. I'll give you another minute to do that. So now that you've got best decisions for 2023, the last column on this sheet is career challenges. What were your career challenges in 2023? And again, I'm going to give you time this week. Your homework is going to be to go back and to review this document, but just off the top of your head right now. And if anybody wants to share anything in the chat, you are more than welcome. Okay, like I said, we will be doing live on social media next week, but for today, we are all on Zoom, which is kind of nice. So please feel free to share something in the chat if you want my help with anything. All right. So what were some of your career challenges for last year? Again, for those of us in the States, the strike was definitely a big one, but it wasn't the only one. There were some other career challenges. So now that I've taken a look at last year, I want to take a look at the year ahead, 2024. And again, this is something that I do at the beginning of every year, because as actors, actually anybody in their career, your career is going to progress. Your career is going to move on for the most part, but especially actors, we evolve to different levels. Sometimes we need new reps. Sometimes we need no reps. You change in terms of appearance. You have to rebrand. We're having to rebrand all the time and remarket ourselves. The business is changing at a phenomenal rate right now. I would say in the last 5 years, the entertainment industry has just been changing at an exponential rate, and that's because of technology. So we need to refocus every single year. So if we're on, again, going across the bottom of the Google spreadsheet, and the third tab is 2024 goals and targets. Now, the first column is, what is your overall career vision? And I'm going to tell you right now, we are going to be honing this down into single activities you can do every week. But I want to know what your overall career vision is. And the reason I'm asking this question is because it's going to be so personal. It's going to be different for everyone, right? My career vision may be very, very different from your career vision. For example, there are a lot of people I've worked with who said, like, I just want to be working in the industry. I just want to make this much money every year, and I'm good with that. For me, I did not grow up in the United States. I grew up in Canada. And at one point for me, part of my career vision was to move to Los Angeles, right? So that is very different from just staying in my home city, my hometown, and working there. Some people want to do that. If that's what you want to do, no judgment, zero judgment whatsoever. I have another girlfriend who's an actress. She is actually living out in Colorado because that's where her husband's business is. And it would be extremely difficult for them to relocate. It's extremely difficult for him to work in California. And she said, look, my marriage is more important than anything else. It's more important than an acting career or the hopes of an acting career. Valid choice. So, but I want to know what your overall career vision is. And again, if anybody wants to pop something in the chat, please feel free to do so. And your career vision, that could be working steadily. It could be a dollar amount that you want to make every year. The type of work you want to be doing. For me personally, it's acting, modeling, and voiceovers. I don't do as much modeling now in terms of my age, right? That has changed. I've aged out of some jobs and aged into others. Also hand modeling. I've always done a lot of hand modeling. If I want to book more hand modeling jobs, more voiceover jobs, that's going to go into the career vision. So just what is the career vision for you? I mean, some people want to win Golden Globes, Emmys, Oscars, but not everyone does. It's an entirely a personal choice. I'm just going to give you a second with that one. And again, you'll have time to recap this before our next session. I'm going to keep this moving kind of quick today. I want to be really mindful of time. My next question for you, the next column is your 2024 goal or vision. How do you want your career to look at the end of this year? So based on what your overall vision is, like I said, maybe you want to win an Oscar, but you need to put a lot of steps in place. And I'm going to say, if you haven't already shot the movie, you're not winning an Oscar in the next year, but that's a great overall career vision. If you want to be working steadily, but right now you're only try that again. You want to be working steadily, but right now you're only booking one job every few months. So then maybe an overall vision for this year is going to be booking a job of some type every single week. Again, maybe it's for you, it's strictly acting. Maybe you're also doing modeling. Maybe you're also doing voiceovers. But what do you want your career to look like by the end of this year? And again, I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. If anybody has any thoughts or questions, please feel free to pop that in the chat. Now, here is where we really start to narrow this down. So now we have your overall career vision, the big vision. We know what you want this year to look like. What do you want it to look like the next 3 months? Now, maybe the overall goal is to, like I said, be booking a job every single week by the end of this year. But if you're only booking one every few months right now, so what is your goal for the next 3 months? Would that be booking 2 jobs a month? Who knows? Okay, so that's personal to you. Maybe you want to be doing more auditions. Maybe you want to be networking more. Maybe you haven't started doing voiceovers yet, but you'd like to start. Maybe you haven't started doing modeling, but you'd like to start. What do you want your career to look like in the next 3 months? Now, based on that, you'll notice we're going over one column. Is there anyone you need on your team? So, for example, I'm going to go back to when I was still living in Toronto, Canada. And for a long time, my goal was always to come to Los Angeles, but that wasn't a direct path for me. I worked a lot in Europe first. I spent about 10 years, more or less, in Europe, 10 years of my adult life in Europe. But Los Angeles was always the goal. So there was finally one year where I went, okay, I'm going to make this happen. And the 3-month goal then became to get some of the legal stuff sorted out. But in terms of people I needed on my team, who I needed more than anyone else at that moment, not so much agents or managers, but I needed attorneys, right? That's who I needed on my team at the moment. And again, this is going to be different for everybody. I'm just checking the chat here. If anybody has any questions about this, please feel free to pop it in the chat, but this is going to be super personal to you. Who do you need on your team to get the ball rolling in the next 3 months? You'll notice I've also put in here agents, managers, acting coach, business coach, personal trainer, photographer. So personal trainer might seem like a strange one, but I'm working with one client right now, and her ambition is to become a fitness model. She wants to get really rock hard and ripped and do hardcore fitness shoots, and she wants to do action films. So for her, personal trainer is somebody she needs on her team. Okay. So again, decide on what your 3-month goal is and who you need on your team to make that goal happen. Now, the last column on this sheet, are there any skills that you need to master? So an example of the first thing I say is acting. So maybe you want to start booking network roles. I have another client who's doing, I can't speak today. I have another client who wants to start booking network roles, but he hasn't taken a lot of acting training. Okay. He just does not have the skills. He also does not have really great auditioning skills. He books a lot of like student films, short films, things like that, but he hasn't taken the time to hone his skills and hone also a process for auditioning and submitting for larger roles. And there is a process to this. So he does need other people on his team, but those are the skills he has to master. He needs to hone his acting skills, and he needs to hone some serious, solid auditioning skills. So are there any skills you have to master? Another one that comes up a lot with people who are not from the US, sometimes people want to lose their accents, okay? Lose the accent to sound, quote unquote, more American. Getting a dialect coach. So the dialect coach would be somebody on your team. American dialect would be a new skill you have to master. So again, I'll give you a second with this. And based on what we have so far, are there any questions? Okay. So what I'm going to assign everyone to do, and again, like I said, this is our first week doing this, so we're going to recap with this last week. And again, there's technical stuff happening here today, so I'm a little not totally on the game. I'm going to give you guys a week with this. I'm going to actually redo this class on Saturday, okay, just to give everyone a chance to have a look at this. But we are going to come back to this next week, and we are going to build on this. Next week, we are going to start putting action steps in place. But I want to give you some time to review this when you can breathe and sit down. I'd say do whatever feels good for you. Some people like to do this. I have a friend, a guy who can't think unless there's sports on in the background and loud noises. Me personally, I want it to be quiet. I want nice soft music. I want to light a candle, and then I can really tune into intuition. So whatever works for you, revisit this worksheet. This is yours to keep. I would encourage you to do this every year. Okay. And I'm just going to see one last time if there's any questions before I sign off. Nope, y'all are quiet today. That's okay. So again, you're going to have the opportunity to look over this for the next week. We are going to reconvene on this either on the weekend or on Wednesday. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I may start doing this on Saturdays. I know that during the week, during the day, hey, that worked during COVID. It doesn't work as well now for everybody. So I want to be mindful of that. Okay. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the Successful Happy Actors Facebook group. I will check in there. You can also email me, but I'd like to actually keep everything in the group if we can, and I will make sure this video is posted, and I will talk to you guys soon. You have a great day.